One round in and half the field already extinguished from the competition, but the round of 32 in a familiar track always seems to deliver the best action in the tournament. It is going to be fun today, as we had a lot of higher seeds end up winning, but there are a couple of dark horses and Cinderella bids to keep your eye on as we get into the following rounds of this tournament. We'll see what Slenderman can do here on the demo run, eliminated in a shocker in the first race of the tournament. It'll show us how it's done. You have the marble tower, you have this long orange track, the second jump, and then the winding open tracks where the passes on this backstretch are going to have to happen. We see Dandelion versus Evergreen as our first matchup here in Quadrant 1. Dandelion, of course, took down Slenderman in that first round, but there's plenty of lower seeds and Cinderellas to like in this Quadrant 1. That's really the story of this one compared to all three of the other spots in this tournament where there's a whole lot of high seeds. This is where the underdogs will reside. As we begin, and it's Evergreen to jump the lead in the marble tower, but Dandelion giving chase. They exit pretty lockstep with one another, and Dandelion already making a run back at him. They make contact once on the orange track. Evergreen pulling away as they get back to the jump. Here comes Dandelion. It's now or never. Backstretch, open track, side by side to the line. Dandelion in a photo finish. Wow. That is two awesome results for Dandelion, showing off some serious racecraft, and look at that, beaten by about one length of a marble. We move on now to Twisted Thicket versus Zombie. Wow, catch your breath for a moment. But this one, between a 12 and a 13, is going to produce another Cinderella that will battle with Dandelion for the Elite Eight. It's Twisted Thicket at the moment. Zombie giving chase, sticking to him like glue. He has to find a way around, takes a cleaner line. Twisted Thicket, trouble with the walls, and again, two passes on this final section of the track. Twisted Thicket was just going wall to wall, all out of sorts, and Zombie seizes the opportunity. It'll be 16 versus 13 in our first Sweet 16 matchup. As we continue on with Quadrant 1 action here, Ghosts and Sea Turtle. And the Ghosts get this one. Sea Turtle took a huge shot from the Ghosts as they exit the tower, trying to fight back into this race, that gap at about 2 feet. Now the Ghosts pulling away. Sea Turtle trying to fight him, but this time the higher seed does execute in time. And look at this. Sea Turtle just goes straight back and really has to build up momentum for the rest of the race. We move on now to the final matchup in the round of 32 in this part of the bracket. It's Demon's Eye and Patriot, and man, these two are close through the tower, but now there's some distance between them. Demon's Eye, such a fast marble, has some trouble. Here comes Patriot back into the picture. This one could get close, but Demon's Eye stabilizes the lead. Patriot running out of time to make it happen and will not be able to. Demon's Eye executes. So we're going to have 16 versus 13 on one side of the bracket and then 2 versus 3 on the other in this Sweet 16. A bipolar looking quadrant here in the first group of the tournament. Looking on now at quadrant number 2, a bit more normal in terms of the amount of upsets. A lot of the higher seeds got the advantages here, but there's still a couple ones to keep your eye on, especially Titanic down in that 15 seed. We'll be racing in that final race here. But first we begin with Electric Eel and Carmel, and Electric Eel has some trouble getting into the tower and then gets really hung up there on the bell. Carmel is going to race into the distance, almost disappearing off the screen. Electric Eel barely enters the shot. This one might just be a dominant victory for the 8 seed. And here goes our second 1 seed to drop out. First it was Slenderman, and now it's the marble he beat in the championship last season. Electric Eel drops out 1 round later and really got hung up there. That's where that match was decided. We move on now to Slimeball versus Fireball. Battle of the balls as Slimeball comes away with the lead through the tower. Fireball sticking close to him. We'll see if this one gets close or not. Right now it's Slimeball. Here comes Fireball, head of steam. About a 1.5 foot gap. Now it's starting to build up. Fireball's got to make the run. Here he is, right on Slimeball, but the defense is held. And man, Slimeball, he got tested right at the end here as Fireball came with a head of steam, but just couldn't find the window. It was there, but Slimeball slams the door and advances into the Sweet 16. Now, Prairie Grass versus Cyclone. Should be a fun one. Cyclone comes up with the lead through the tower. Prairie Grass right on his back, and you see how much visibly closer they are when they exit. That's going to help Prairie Grass down the road, but Cyclone doing really well to build up speed. He's got the lead. Here comes Prairie Grass. Could we see it again? Yes, we will. Another one on the backstretch. Prairie Grass, it's not an upset, but it feels like it because he was trailing for so much of the race. And Cyclone just never had it going. See the movement on that marble? Almost looked like it was a little sideways, drawing him into the wall there. Now Werewolf and Titanic. Both of these marbles had really thrilling races in round one, especially Werewolf with the comeback against Atlantis. If he's going to win, he's going to need to pull off another one against Titanic. Closing in, dropping that gap down. They're right on each other as they go over the jump. It's Titanic with the lead and winning from end to end. The 15 has taken down first Scorpion and now Werewolf. The 2 and the 7 fall in its wake. Dandelion is the lowest seed right now in the Sweet 16, but Titanic is a 15 right behind. Now we move on to Quadrant 3 with Tidal Wave and Blitz as our opening matchup. This one, another one that didn't have too many upsets in the early going. We'll see if these second rounds can produce a couple more of them as we get set here. It's been a fun one already in the round of 32. Halfway done at this point, that field continuing to thin down as it's Blitz and Tidal Wave. A ton of trouble. Oh, he barely even got going. This one just might be over like that in an instant. Blitz pulling away. Tidal Wave still not on the screen and still not making an appearance. Blitz is just going to win this one from coast to coast. There's Tidal Wave. But look at that margin of victory. About 3 seconds between them. Check out this contact right there. He just seesawing and can't get into the next part of the tower. Haven't seen that yet, but it dooms another 1 seed. There's only one left standing now, and it's Monarch, and he hasn't raced yet. Lightning versus Skyline, the next one. Lightning has showed some impressive speed in the round of 64, looking to show it again. Skyline trying to catch up, falling behind. Lightning off to the races. Skyline never making it competitive, and the fan favorites still can't advance beyond the round of 32. His Marble Madness woes continue at the hands of Lightning, living up to the name. Now the yellow battle comes up. Bumblebee versus Circus, and Circus gets the jump on him. These two can be fairly close exiting the tower. Bumblebee definitely with work to do still, though. Circus over the jump, keeping that gap where it is. It's about 2 feet now, growing to 3, and this thing might be over before it ever got going. Circus leads from end to end, and the 6 takes down the 3. Another one of these high seeds falls, and Bumblebee, who was a Sweet 16 member in his own right last season, can't follow it up with anything beyond a round of 32 appearance. We move on to Cherry versus Octopus. Octopus, a former championship member, as Cherry pulling off into the distance. He was in the Elite 8 last year and looking for a repeat appearance. He is going to dominate this one, and Octopus never competitive in it. Cherry with another pretty result. And the red marble looking good on the track, as that will do it for quadrant number 3. You see, just pulled away right there, and Octopus never had a fighting chance. So 3/4 of our quadrants have been decided. We move on to the 4th, and the final 4 bids in the Sweet 16 up for grabs. We'll open with Monarch versus Wasps in the bug battle. It's one of the pinnacles of consistency versus one of the best marbles in recent years in Monarch. That one should be fun, and there's a whole lot more to look forward to as we begin. The bug battle underway, and Monarch holds the lead through the tower, but they are lockstep with one another. This one could be close. Monarch holds the lead, but here come the Wasps, always taking advantage of that draft to draw back into this race. They go over the jump. Wasps fighting. Monarch just barely enough speed, though, to hold on and win the race. Wasps gave it everything. This was the moment right here, but he just ran out of speed and took the exact same line as Monarch throughout that whole race. That's not how you're going to come up with a pass, just following the leader. Move on to Flare versus Grasshopper. Whoa, both of them made contact. Unorthodox move from the veteran Flare. Might have fooled Grasshopper into thinking he was going to have a normal-looking race. Instead, he's still technically in this one, but Flare, off into the distance, just has to keep it clean on the walls. And that's exactly what he'll do. And maybe that weird beginning might have thrown off Grasshopper's mojo. He got slammed into Flare and really had to adjust after that. The rest of the track is the exact same, but it feels different after a move like that. Now Flame versus Inferno in the lava battle. Flame's got the lead in the Cat's Eye Marble. Big lead, stretching it. Inferno needs to find something, but he's way out of the picture right now, and for all intents and purposes, this one might be over unless there's something from Inferno. Definitely made it closer on the back stretch, but not enough, and Flame takes him down, moves on in the process. Inferno stalled out once more. As we move on to the final match in the round of 32, it's Banana Split and Royalty, and Banana Split's got the lead. Both of these marbles had interesting matchups in the round of 64. Banana Split had the double pass win. He's got a big lead here. Royalty falling behind. He hasn't raced from behind in this tournament, led from end to end against Celtic, and that might be the difference here. Banana Split proven and executes once more. He has been the modern marvel in this sport in terms of just continuing to win year after year, and does it again, punching the final ticket into the Sweet 16, 1-5-3-2. Meanwhile, on this side, as we begin the Sweet 16 matchups, 16 versus 13 will be for a spot in the Elite 8, one of the lower seeds we're ever going to see at that point in the tournament. Zombie versus Dandelion. Here we go. Both of these marbles have given us some absolutely thrilling matchups through their first two races, but right now it's Zombie with the lead. Dandelion's made come from behind wins in both of his first two races. He'd need to do it again, but for now it's Zombie pulling away. Here comes Dandelion. One more chance. Can he do it? He's blocked by Zombie on the backstretch. And finally, the luck runs out for Dandelion. He had the speed to get it done, and right there, that little glance against Zombie does him in. And the 13 seed, the first member of the Elite 8. What an absolute thriller those two marbles have produced so far. Demon's Eye versus Ghosts, another monster mash battle, and the Demon's Eye team pulling off into the distance. Here come the Ghosts. This is 2-on-3, and the winner would be favored in that Elite 8 matchup. Right now, it's going to be going to Demon's Eye, who was in the Elite 8 last year and makes good on it, returning to that spot with his second straight Elite 8 appearance. Ghosts could not figure it out. We're behind from the tower the entire time, and so it'll be 2 versus 13 in the Elite 8 in Quadrant 1. As we get now into that next part of the bracket, Caramel and Slimeball going to be up. These two defensive maestros will be going against each other. Expect the one who gets the jump to try and hold on to that lead throughout. Right now it's Slimeball, and that bodes well for him. Caramel with work to do, moving from behind and really getting close into this one. This is going to be interesting as they go off the jump. Oh, and there's another big defensive move from Slimeball, who just shuns Caramel's attempt. Watch, they're going to hit this wall flush on and just absorbs the momentum from Caramel, basically pushes him off to the side. You wouldn't expect anything else from Slimeball, would you? Titanic and Prairie Grass now in the 15 seed, looking to make his bid to the Elite 8 continue. Prairie Grass with work to do. Can Titanic do it? Prairie Grass, though, getting very close into this match. They go over the jump, and look at that. That is the textbook historic move that so many marbles have pulled off on this exact track. As you go over the jump, you switch positions, and Prairie Grass pulls off the move. Sweet 16 last year improves to make it to the Elite 8 this time out. He'll face Slimeball in a 5 versus 3 matchup. As we move on now to another battle of underdogs, Cinderella bids, if you want to call it that. Blitz versus Lightning. First matchup in Quadrant 3's Sweet 16 set. It's Blitz with the lead, Lightning giving chase. Blitz off into the distance, Lightning with work to do. Finally enters the picture again. That gap starts to widen once more. Blitz with the lead. Here comes Lightning. Backstretch, close but not enough. Blitz moves back into the Elite 8. He was there a couple of seasons ago, and he will return to reclaim what he believes is rightfully his. Now Cherry versus Circus. This one's going to be interesting. Circus with the lead, who gets hung up there on the bell, and that might have just taken a sure win into now a competitive race. Here comes Cherry, closing that gap. They make contact once on the own track. Now they go over the jump, and Cherry emulates what Prairie Grass just did. Another pass for the trailing marble, and once again it's the higher seed staving off an upset by pulling off that move. Impressive stuff from Cherry there to close out Circus's tournament and punch his ticket into the Elite 8. 6 of the spots decided, 2 left to find out, and we'll see what the number 1 seed, the final remaining number 1 seed in Monarch, is able to do first as he takes on Flair. This is one that you do not want to miss. A huge matchup between titans of this sport. It is going to be Monarch pulling off the lead out of the Marble Tower. This one looking a lot less competitive than it seemed on paper at the moment. Monarch, so much speed in that marble, and this one was never close. A big win for Monarch. He will get back to the Elite 8 after making the Final 4 last season. Not many marbles have ever put 2 back-to-back tournaments of this caliber together, but Monarch continuing to innovate. Now Banana Split and Flame going up against it. 2 versus 3 in this quadrant where so many higher seeds have found success. It's Flame off into the distance. Hard to see against the orange track, but here comes Banana Split. He's not hitting any walls. Goes over the jump and gets around. Banana Split, he lives on the edge and executes again into the Elite 8. Look at this move right there. Again, Flame with nothing he could do about that. Banana Split continues to thrive in late race situations. Another come from behind win for him, and the Elite 8 is set. This will be a fun one. There's a 13 in it, and then there's a whole lot of high seeds. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 5. There's an 8 in there. This one is going to be fun as we head into the final 3 rounds coming to you next week. That will do it from this track here in the round of 32 and Sweet 16. Always seems to deliver incredible action. And that is your bracket set. Another monster mash to look out for in Quadrant 1 with Demon's Eye and Zombie as well. Thank you so much for watching this one. We will see you for the conclusion of the tournament next week. Take care.